as we start navigating towards making a decision that might be more complex than either or, like we worked with last week. So the first step of this is we need to define what the puzzle is. So consider a puzzle in your own life that's beyond either this or that. And for example, what we're going to work with here for the role play, and perhaps you can use this as your default situation, is we're going to work with the most serious problem in the world, at least for all the parents that I've talked to recently, which is how to deal with iPads and iPhones and all the stress that is created in modern 21st century homes because of the existence of these devices. And so rather than think about should we have an iPad or not, which would be an either or strategy, we're going to frame the puzzle as how does technology fit into the culture we are working to build in our family. So that's the puzzle space that we're going to be working with. How does technology fit into the culture we are working to build in our family? So I'll be quiet for a minute while you think about a puzzle that might be alive in you, or you can feel free to use this one for today.
Are you asking to find something in our life that's more than yes and no strategy?
Exactly. Thank you for the clarity. Yeah, so the idea, someone asked for a repetition. The idea is to find some kind of a puzzle in your life, some kind of a problem or something that you feel stuck with that will require some decisions to be made. Some other examples might be open-ended questions like, what do we do about schooling for our children? What do we do about some social change issue in our community? What do we do about some business problem that we're confronting, like the fact that because of the pandemic, we don't have as many customers as we used to have, or stuff like that. It's okay if you don't come up with a puzzle that you want to work with, because we'll be working with this iPad puzzle. And if we can figure it out today, we'll all write a book and we'll make $1 billion and we'll solve one of the major problems in the world together. So I'm going to invite Jori and Kenneth to do a role play with me, so you guys can unmute yourself. And the setup is Kenneth and I are partners, domestic partners. And Jori is our 8-year-old kid. And I play in this role play. I'm playing the role of the person bringing the puzzle to the family for a discussion. And Kenneth and I, we've talked about this. We're at our wits' end. We've been giving each other empathy about this for, ever since somebody came up with this idea to buy the iPad. We've been fighting about it. And so we're at our wits' end, and we've decided we've taken an NVC class and we got some coaching that maybe we could have a dialogue and include our kid, Jori, in the discussion. So that's the setup. And so I start first with my 0 step. This happens before the meeting even starts. The 0 step means where I just get really clear on my intention, which in this case is I really need help. I really want to connect with my family. I want to do something beyond power over. I want to do something cooperatively. So I really want to connect. And I really want to be present. I don't want to kind of like score keep in the past or do any blaming or criticizing. I want to like start over from right now. I really want to be present. And I want to be open to outcome. I see that if I go in with a fixed agenda, it's not going to help. And so I'm going to do my best to leave my suitcase at the door and come in empty-handed and open-hearted. So now I walk into the room where everybody's hanging out, and maybe we have, this is the time of our family meeting every week. And so I say, hey gang, how you doing? And do a little check-in. And then I say, hey, you know what? I've been noticing a lot of conflict in the house lately, and it's about the iPad. And I know it's fun. I know we all enjoy it, and it even helps with school. I know we have to use it for school to do the assignments and to stay connected to the classes and so forth. And yet I notice we're doing way more fighting about it than I enjoy. And so, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned about what it's doing to us as a family. And in a way, it breaks my heart. And in a way, I long for peace in our family. And I want to find out if you guys are willing to take a few minutes and talk about it. So first I check in with you, Kenneth. Are you willing to talk about it for maybe 5-10 minutes, not too long, but just enough time to get a little connection about it?
Yeah. And I'm just, I'm hearing your broken heart, and it just, it's kind of breaking my heart too. So there's a kind of openness and a vulnerability, and I see Jori there too, and my heart's just open to her, whatever outcomes we have here. That I want both of you to know how much I love both of you, and how much I love the kitty too, and how we're just one happy family, and want to be one happy family, even though we may have, I want that love to be there, even though there may be struggles.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks for the support, and thanks for the empathy. Jori, are you willing to have a dialogue about this right now for maybe 5 minutes or so?
Okay.
Yeah, I see you say okay, and I catch your willingness, but I'm catching something in the tone of your voice, and I want you to check. Is this something that you're willing to do?
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay, I agree. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, and we're going to hold to it even if we're not done. That work for you?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay, I got the timer going. So thank you. Thank you for consenting to have this talk with me. And so I want to start with you, Jori. And what comes up for you about this conflict in the house? How is it for you?
Well, if the both of you would stop arguing with me or telling me I can't do things, then there wouldn't be a problem. Just let me do what I want.
Yeah. So you see that having choice is really important to you.
Yeah, it's my life.
Yeah, you want some acknowledgement that you have power and that you have choice about what you do with your time.
Yeah.
So choice is really important to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and you really want to. I also catch that you'd like there to be less bossiness. Maybe you would really like to have some sense of freedom, that you get to do what you want to do. Is that right?
Yeah, I get lonely. I can't go out and play with my friends, and this is how I have the connection. And besides, it's fun.
Right. So fun, freedom, connection.
And maybe some like equality in decision making, so it's not like, oh, we're gonna tell you what to do and be all bossy with you, but maybe give you ability to make your own choices.
So you're saying you won't do that? That's great.
Yeah. Well, when I'm realizing, like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, I have to really shift from being this sort of concerned parent here. That's like kind of like, oh, I'm concerned about your well-being. And then to kind of shift of like, wow, can I do that? I don't know if I can do that. I'm going to really try. It's a struggle that I have. To be quite honest with you, sweetie, that it really, it takes a lot of work. And I'm just going to think about that for a second here.
Thanks.
Thank you. And Kenneth, how are you with this? What comes up for you about it right now?
I guess I got so much stuff from when I was a kid, that like, oh, that's just like that's what you do, you tell your kids what to do and then they just do it. So letting go of all that baggage and and also wanting to be protective too somehow. There's a sense of like wanting Jori to have a well-rounded sense of time and space and the world around her. And I have a big concern that just being with a electronic device doesn't allow her to smell and taste and touch the world that's around her that is also I want her to experience.
Yeah, so really wanting to support well-being and protection, really contributing to Jori that she has the opportunity to really enjoy all that's available in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just seeing like the shift of like when she has the kitty in her lap versus like when she has her laptop in her lap. It's just like there's something so beautiful about touching and being with another creature in this world that it's just is very, very sweet and nurturing.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're really savoring the nurturing of being connected to life and living things.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we're going to accelerate. This might go on, by the way, for 10 minutes, but since we put a 5-minute limit on it, we're going to fast forward to. I move into a summary space, and so the needs that I heard us collect were well-being, contribution, protection, equality, fun, freedom, connection, and peace. So as you sit with those needs, I'd like you to just let your mind open. When you think about the iPad and technology in the house and all these needs, does anybody have an idea about what we could try now that might contribute to these needs? I guess I'm most eager to hear from you, Jori, if you have an idea. We'll go 30 more seconds.
Would you give me the needs again?
Sure. Fun, equality, well-being. We'll just stick with those three for right now. Fun, equality, and well-being.
Kim, this is Dora.
Yes?
Can I contribute?
You have an idea of a strategy that we could try that would address these needs?
Well, I have a 8 years old. And this is a big issue for us as for all the parents. But what I notice is that all these needs that he puts on the tablet or on the computer, he is more willing to connect with us if we go do a connection in between something fun, go to the park and go to do something together. He always prefer being connected with us than with the iPad or with any device.
Okay, so we're going to pretend like you're now the kid.
Yeah, what she said.
Yeah.
You wanted me to call him to be part of this and answer?
No.
You're channeling him just perfectly. And so, gosh, I really appreciate your idea, Dora, that we set aside time in order to play together, where we're actually interacting and doing something as a family. And I wonder if you have a specific request about how we might spend that time.
Maybe we can go to the nature and do something fun, go fishing. I love go fishing.
Okay. So sometime over the next week, we will find a 2-hour period of time when our family can go fishing.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. And so now we check, would that contribute to the need for equality for you, Kenneth, and for you, Dora?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would it be fun for both of you?
It would for me, yeah.
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 And what was the other one I said? Freedom. would it also contribute to freedom for both of you, that we're free to go fishing and free to do this together as a family?
Yeah.
All right, so then my proposal is that next, let me just check my calendar here. Okay, yeah, so how about, and you check too, Kenneth, does Friday after school work? After the school time, we'll just load up the car and go down to the pier and do some fishing together for 2 hours. Would you check?
Be really nice. I'd really enjoy that. Yeah, that would be sweet,
And
Dora.
I see you smiling, Dora. Looks like that would work for you.
Yes,
Great.
that will work for me.
Great. And then next week when we have our family meeting, we'll talk about what worked about it. Maybe we can come up with some new ideas besides. How does that sound?
Mm-hmm. And we could we cook the fish sooner than a week after we?
Good idea. That's another
Every
thing we
day.
could do. Yes, we could all figure out how to cook it together.
Yeah.
As long as you clean the fish.
I'm happy to clean the fish. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we paused the role play there. Thank you, Dora, for chiming in and being your 8-year-old. And so let me just point out what we did there, and then we're going to turn you loose to try to see how much of it you can do in your small groups. So first, started with this idea of 0 step, where I got really clear on my intention before I opened the dialogue. So that might require me to do some self-care to really be ready to do this dialogue, to make sure my needs have been as fed as possible. And then I open with an invitation. And when I do the invitation, if I'm really in 0, if either Dora, Jori, or Kenneth said no, that would be a gift to me. And I actually slowed it down with Jori to make sure that her yes was a little tentative at first. And so we found a way to limit it to 5 minutes, and then it made it a more wholehearted yes for her. So just don't take a cheap yes. And then when we got consent to move on, I said, thank you. And if I had not gotten consent, I would have also said thank you, because I got my request met. I asked for feedback and I got it. So I want to create this culture of gratitude. And then I did my vulnerability. I expressed my pain. I shared what my feelings and needs were. And then I made what we call a feedback request. I intentionally chose to work with Jori first because she has the least amount of structural power in this family. She's littler than us, she's younger than us, she has less life experience, she doesn't have access to the bank account, she doesn't even have access to the iPad. I keep that sucker locked away in the cabinet. So I have way more power than she does. And so I go to her first to begin to create this process of equalizing power. And then both Kenneth and I put our giraffe ears on. And we just listened, and we become needs collectors. And so what we're listening for are the needs that we share in common. These universal human needs that NVC is built on, like fun, equality, protection. So these are non-controversial, in the words of Mickey Cashton. There's no controversy that human beings have these needs. And so we're collecting first from Jori, and then from Dora, the sister, and then from Kenneth, and then from me. So we're collecting a basket of needs. And then the next step was to call it heartstorming. It's kind of like brainstorming, only since we're connected in the heart, at the level of the heart, at the level of the needs, we're letting the ideas be generated from the field of needs that we've collected. And we open it up. As the person with the most power, I did not come in with the first proposal. I waited. So my job, and if I was going to coach my partner in this in a family meeting, I say, let's wait and let the first idea come from either Dora or Jori, no matter how crazy it is. And it could be, yeah, you give me the key to the iPad so I can get it whenever I want. I write that down. And we actually would take about maybe 5-10 minutes just to collect potential strategies. And then we look at the strategies and we pick one that we're willing to try for a week or some period of time. And then I asked for consent. Are you guys willing to try this for a week and then talk about what happened? And so there's a promise that this is not a permanent decision. This is a trial run. And so this relaxes us from analysis paralysis. We don't have to worry about it being the perfect decision. We get to try it and find out if it's absolutely, maybe we find out that fishing doesn't work at all. And so then we get to try something else the next week.